Hi there, fellow or gal. This is my first new tutorial I'm doing for this website. I'm going to show you how I made this website, and I am no website person. I don't know what you call a website creator, but I am not one of them. But I did create my website, and I know some people don't even know as much as I do. And for those people, if you are one of them, I have so much sympathy for you because of how little I know about website making. But I'll show you how I made mine. It's very simple, and if I could do it, you could do it. So, step one, I'm not really going to do steps all the way through, that'd be really annoying. But first, open your web browser. If you can do that, you're ahead of the game. The second thing I do, or I did, and I'm not getting any money from them, but I wish I did. So I went to squarespace.com, and I spelt it incorrectly at first, which I recommend to you. See, that's not right. What did I do wrong? I don't know. I spelt it wrong though. So I'm gonna go and do it this way, Squarespace, and then it pops up, you see. Squarespace.com is the correct website. You can try it out for 14 days for free with no credit card required, as you see. But what I did, and I don't know what it costs. I think it's, there you go. I have this option, the $16 a month. You can do it for as little as $8 a month. And it's very cheap. And anyway, I'm not doing a plug for them. This is just how I created mine. I'm going to show you how it works. So what I do first is I log in like so. And I always spell it incorrectly with my password also. It's kind of a trick of the trade. It's pretty helpful to do that. Once you log in correctly, it opens up my website. And this doesn't look like my website, does it? No, it does not. So let me go through real quick how this works and show you how simple it is. What this is right here is one of the ways, or one of the, I guess, tools of Squarespace. And this just allows me to access all of my web pages. So here's my home page. Here's my work page. Some of the work that I've done. Here's all the images for that. This is probably the most complicated looking screen, and you might be like, oh, this is overwhelming. But it's really not. If you look over here, you have these icons. And this one that looks like an eyeball is, and you see if I hold my mouse over it, it explains what that is. This will let me preview my site the way that it looks on the internet, which is just like this. And I can click around on my site just like I would if I was really visiting my site. And so that's kind of cool. Now you'll notice that those options, those little icons went away. But in place of them is this handy little thing down here. And you'll notice that it only has 3 icons. A pen, a paintbrush, and this gear. And it tells you what each of them are. This one's to edit the content of my page. This one is to change how my page looks stylistically. And this one lets me kind of go in. It's kind of like the settings of your computer and lets you do a bunch of different settings. So let me show you how these work. So this pen tool or pencil tool, I'll click on that, and you'll notice that all it did, it popped up some. Sometimes when you're developing your website, it helps to speak like you have some sort of southern accent or like you're from the hill country. I don't know why, but it is helpful. So you'll notice that these little plus buttons pop up. So I have one here where this text sits, and I have one here where this text sits. And you'll notice as I move them, that helps also. When I move my mouse over these little boxes, I get this little crosshair fellow. And what I can do is click and hold, and I can move this box wherever I want to put it. It's not completely free to where I could just drag it anywhere, but it does pop up. You might notice these little blue bars, and that shows me where I can drop, for instance, this little square box. And what I can also do with these plus buttons is if I click on the plus button, it'll let me add a multitude of things. Squarespace calls these blocks, and I can add blocks of whatever I want. Text, I don't know what a markdown is, an image, an entire gallery, videos, a quote, which is cool. You can embed things. You can enter your own code if you know code, which I don't. Forms, maps, you can see all the things it adds. These are just content options. It also has structural options, like you can add a calendar or a tag cloud. I don't know if those are cool to do anymore, but I don't even know if they're helpful, but they might be. Social stuff, you can add your Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. You may have noticed Facebook isn't in here. I'm not going to explain why, but you can do that. So anyway, this is how I add content to my page. Very, very easy to use. You'll notice that while I'm in this content tool, this little bar has changed and gives me two options. I can click on manage my blog, or I can hit this little square. It's not actually a square, it's an X. Click on the X, and now I'm out of that edit mode. Edit content mode, and I have access to these other modes. So let's check out the change style mode. This is where I can play around with the look of my site. And so what it does is it gives you this list of options for changing things like text, like fonts and colors, and even the size of your page. I can also click around, like just click on this like logo, and it gives me the option for the logo, or this header background. It gives me the options for that, and I can change that image if I wanted to, or change the way that it appears on the screen. I can click on this text here, and I can change some of the options there, like colors. And so a lot of options in here for how your page actually looks. So if I click that X again, I get those three options. And this final one, the settings one that lets me change a lot of the inner workings of my site, brings me back to where we started. And the, again, kind of most complicated looking one, but it's really not. So again, I have access to all of my web pages right here, and I'm not seeing them as I will on the web as like everyone else will, but I do have quick and easy access for changing like my text. Or if I right click on some of these things, it brings up this additional window that gives me more options for like this form. If I wanted to change this form, I could change, how this form works, and lots of other options. So this also brings up those other icons that we saw from the beginning. So this is the content manager. Again, I can access all of these. Are also pages that are not being used right now. And so you can turn on and off pages. I can rearrange how the pages appear up when I, like for instance, on my actual web page, if I wanted to change these pages in the order of them, I would just go into this setting option, and I can move them around in any order that I want. I can make whatever I want the home page, and it gives me all these options for each page. So this also gives me access to my stats for my web page, and this setting one gives you a ton of tools. So this gives me access to my web page and globally, the entire website. So I don't know, lots of options for the browser icon for when you click on my page. There's my little browser icon. I don't know, lots of stuff in there. The general one gives you access to things I don't completely understand, but if you wanted to track your site via Google Analytics, you could do this here. And all this other stuff that I won't go into because I haven't really looked at it. But some of the cool things you can do is connect your social networking sites here, so that if on one page in particular you wanted to make it like a socially active page, I guess, you already have all your login info here. This is where you can add that Facebook page, but you can see that I have to upgrade my account before I have access to that. And anyway, there's all this stuff. If you wanted to only allow certain people on your site, and you wanted a page that could only be accessed via a password or something, you can do that. Here you can add your custom domain names here. And also there's a bunch of different templates that it gives you that are great starting places or work right out of the box. So if I wanted to change my website look, I can preview what my website would look like with, say, this template. And it changes it quite dramatically, as you can see there. So anyway, there's actually quite a few templates here. This is just under the business category. If I go to like portfolio, there's even more, and then blog, there are even more. This is where I don't know what you can do there. Stuff, code injection. If you're like some of the friends that I have and you understand code, you can do things with code. I don't know what. See, code stuff, developer, I don't know. You can do stuff. And anyway, that's in a nutshell what I use to create my website. It's very easy to use if you just give it a little bit of time, and it gives you a really good looking site. But more importantly for me than just a good looking site is the Squarespace sites I've used in the past just work really, really well. They just function like I think they should. One of my best friends is like a web guy, so I hope he doesn't watch this because he'll probably shake his head like, you idiot, your website sucks. And it might, but I don't know the difference, so it's fine with me. Anyways, that's it in a nutshell. Now go and create your own website, won't you? And leave me alone.